So for those that are new here, if this is your first stream, this will be uploaded to YouTube afterwards. I'll cover the top 3 coins that I usually cover: Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, and a little bit more talk on my end. And then we will, or I'll take some suggestions from you guys. But basically, we're going to talk about the market going into FOMC tomorrow, and I won't be going over the coins that I did. So if you guys, if whoever is late, then they will miss it. So let's talk about USDT dominance before I go into coins first. To be honest, I have taken 6 leverage trades all month. I haven't really been trading. There's no reason. We've been stuck at the same price basically. Just a simple range, if you call it, for the past week and a half. So there's no reason to force anything. Everything is still discounted 2x, so some 3x from their highs. So no reason to force anything, but we're gonna do a trickle down analysis here on USDT dominance, and I think I went over this with you guys last Tuesday, maybe. Anyways, so as you guys can see on a higher time frame, we have a double bottom for dominance, right? And I mentioned that we don't want to get above 6.12% because that's the neckline, right? So if you look at this textbook pattern, right, break the neckline, retest, and go is usually sayonara for alts. And we still have a long way to go, but we are at resistance. We rejected resistance last week on the weekly closure, which was actually 2 days ago. And now we are actually, if we trickle down to the daily, okay, we have, we have flipped this resistance into support on the daily, and we're still hovering on it. So there's no reason to really get into longs on alts just yet. Price is, or not price action on USDT dominance is still putting an uptrend in with higher highs and higher lows. That, if we continue to come back down to this demand zone here, if you guys got anything from there or even there, this is where you want to take most of your profits. But I expect us to actually rally higher in the coming days. Now, I've been high time frame bearish, and I still am. And I made that YouTube video that went over where are we in the cycle? Are we in a bull cycle or a bear cycle? So I'm gonna break that down again on Bitcoin here, but on USDT dominance, I'm not really looking to be bullish on alts until this trend breaks or until we have a market structure break, which even on the 4-hour, right? Whenever dominance is on support, you don't want to get in any longs. So like for example, if we take a look at Saturday, and we can pull up any coin here, right? Here's Saturday, right? 5 a.m., 9 a.m. This is 1 p.m. Look, okay, resistance, right? What happened? Dominance pumped, and alts, and this is just an example of one, right? Here's another one, Saturday, right? Dominance pumped, and alts got wrecked. So unless dominance is bearish and lost market structure, and right now, you can even say that we are putting in a possible, I mean, we have actually broken above here, broken low time frame trend. So this kind of looks bullish. So again, being in alts right now is not the thing, or at least being exposed wrist on is not what I would want to do. We are still in a downtrend, so shorts are the way to go, but not just randomly, right? So again, for those that didn't get to watch my video, really quick breakdown here. On the weekly, we are still in an uptrend. Okay, we can still come down to like 74K-ish, okay, which is the retest of the previous highs. We haven't had that yet. We can come down to 74 to 72K-ish and still be in an uptrend, all right? It's when we do something like this, then basically, we have confirmation the bull cycle's over. But even on, a smaller time frame, such as the 3-day or the 1-day, okay, if this was our last higher high and this was our higher low here, and you can take a look at this based on the line chart. Oops. Okay, so higher high, okay, and then we had the higher low here, and then we made a lower low, which this was actually on the candle, a SFP. Once we close down below the higher low here, we change structure. So this is bearish. There's no reason why anyone, and like I've said, I've worked with many analysts, and I'm not just in one server. I'm in a few different servers, and many analysts still do not understand the concept of a market structure and when to be long and when to be short. Okay, once structure has broken to the downside, which it did with this closure right here below the lows, it all went downhill from there. Yes, we had the bearish retest of that resistance, but a lot of people still fail to realize. And I'm predominantly a spot trader, so looking for shorts really is the way to go. But I don't have time to set limits and just wait for them on higher time frames, because these rallies could be very sharp. Like, for example, I know this was manipulation. This was a daily rally. Rallies like that usually don't take days for it to happen. If we take a look at previous cycles, in a bear cycle, okay, look, rallies do take, if you have a 15% rally, it takes like a few days for it to go up, right? Again, this 15% move took some time to go up. And then yes, you have, some days where you have these giant candles based on low volume, but typically if you're going down this fast, it doesn't go up that fast. You have to build up the consolidation to lead for that move up, all right? So we still don't have that uptrend. So for me to be high time frame bullish, we need to get above this yellow zone. So above 92.5 to 95K, and then I will be bullish. But until then, the trend is down. Okay, here's our downtrend line. Again, more a push into this order block here. You have confluence for a short. Now I'm going to go to a lower time frame. Okay, and I'm going to draw some fibs from these highs down to these lows. Okay, now this was a daily order block, but not only do you have the downtrend, you have the daily order block, you also have fibs here. Like you have all the reason to short in this area. Now, I was looking for a bit of a higher short around 90.5K. I was actually expecting us to continue momentum to the upside because we had so many touches of this resistance line, but we failed. We actually broke down below this trend line. So actually taking a short in this area, probably around 88 to 89K, would be a very good play to take. This would also put in another lower high, okay, and then continue the grind to the downside. Now, if we take a look at trend lines here, right, we've actually broken down from this uptrend that we had, higher high. This was our last higher low. We went up and failed to make a higher high, put in a lower high there. Once we closed down below this here, we actually put in a market structure break, just like similar to what I was talking about over here, right? So again, a move up into maybe a bearish retest there, or even a possible order block here. This would be a nice possible short scalp attempt. Now, it's risky going into FOMC, but there's probably a 99% chance we don't have rate cuts, you know, my man Jay Powell is not going to fold to Trump. Um, he's not. He dishes out, you know, uh, disses, like he doesn't, you know, succumb to retardedness. But you know, any shorts up into the 83.5 to 84K with stops probably above here makes sense for a short back down to the range low levels. Um, I had this long originally planned, but last night with the war or the end of ceasefire in the Middle East, I decided to cancel the play. Now this one actually missed by like $100, and you know it's looking very weak. When you have strong candles down like that, I would hopefully would want this to push up higher. But we have broken structure, so a lower high into there, and then you play the range. You know, TP1, TP2 if you're playing swing trades, but otherwise TP1 would be at support, TP2, and then TP3 somewhere here at support. But this would be your range play. Now, longs are going to be risky because you want to establish some type of strength, and I don't like the strength was lost after we failed to make a higher high here. So um, if we get a move down into the range low levels, now this is probably an area where we could bounce from. Okay. Now the reason this one's tricky is because we have untapped liquidity here. So price can easily go like this, and then we have a sell-off wick, comes and grabs this liquidity. If we close back above here, then you have a triple bottom formation, right? That is a long, and you're going to place, now this is not limit order, but once that happens, if we either come back down and consolidate here on range lows without taking this low, you can long and place your stops below. Now, consolidation has to happen. Like, you need a few 4-hour candles here, and then to build that little cup round shape base, okay, like this, preferably this down here, then you could long. Otherwise, you're looking for a sweep of these lows here, and then your stop would go below once we reclaim above this level here. Okay, so few different options, but you can't set a limit order down at range lows knowing that you have unswept liquidity there. All right. So a few different options. This one would be a scalp play. Let me remove this. So, okay, I'm gonna leave. This one's conditional. It's based on the sweep there, and then this one is a limit order. Hopefully a bearish retest into that trend line along with the order block rejection. But knowing this and this one, or this one's conditional, but this one is risky going into FOMC. This one is a safe short. Okay, so I'm going to place these in chat. Okay. Now ETH holding relatively well compared to Bitcoin. Again, this one actually hasn't lost trend. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So technically, this is still maintaining its higher low. Okay. So like Bitcoin, where it's lost its structure, ETH needs to lose this level here, and we can take a look at it based on a line candle, right? Still maintaining that higher low. Lose that level would be confluence with breaking the downtrend, and then you have a potential short setup with a very tight stop. Now down to that liquidity level. Okay, now it needs to break down below, retest and close below, and then you have a short trigger. Now ETH is still in this range. Okay. So, shorting range highs is going to be a little bit riskier because we've had so many touches of this resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it gets weaker and weaker with every single touch. If we do break out above here, your technical targets are actually going to be taken from this bottom trend line to the neckline and up, which coincides perfectly with this order block. And this is actually going to be a very strong resistance because once we broke down below that 2K level, okay, we can see that, scroll all the way back, right? We flipped it to support, basically bounced from it, bounced from it, bounced from it. We didn't close anything below, and then we lost it, failed to turn it into support. Now it's an order block. That is a short that I personally will be taking, a scalp short. Okay. Now this could be a very quick rejection. TPs are going to be given most likely later. We need price action to develop. Otherwise, we don't really have anything currently. But if we can reclaim above this 2K level, then you have a deviation. Okay. And then longs will be taken above once this level is flipped, right? Like once we were able to turn into support, like we did here, we continued to rally. So again, bounces from the support offered great bounces, or great, moves up. So that is the only time that I'd be looking for longs on ETH around 2K or, lower. And I don't know how low this will really go, depending on how Bitcoin goes. So I don't feel comfortable, like this is the one asset that I don't feel comfortable really longing. I'd rather look for shorts to the upside or a long on confirmation of this flip. But right now, trend is your friend, and we are in downtrend, and even in a range, shorting range highs does make sense. This is just much riskier because of how many touches this was done. So these are the potential plays, and I will share every single one. Now, longs, again, even though we go down to range lows here, we have so many untouched liquidities. I don't even know which one we would take. We could take this one, we could take this one, we could actually take this one and then pump. So it's very hard to actually understand the price action of ETH. But I'd rather look for shorts or long confirmation once this level is flipped, and stop loss will be given, once more price action is developed. Confirmation. Sol. Thought I drew it out, but I guess I didn't. So, just like Bitcoin, Sol has actually lost structure. Okay. High, low, high, low, made a lower high, failed below. Okay. And we actually retest that level perfectly, rejected from the SR point, and then continue to go down. Now we bounced. I think it was a 2-hour. Yeah. This 2-hour order block, this is the original chart that I had drawn, but I don't know where it went. We bounced right from it, but again, still in a downtrend, forming some type of weird falling wedge. It's not a very defined one, but we need to reclaim this trend line here to go higher, because right now this has turned into a massive supply zone. It was previously a range, now turned into supply. So expect heavy resistance there. But if we can get above the trend line again, then this will actually be just a deviation, and then you are looking for longs with probably tight stops and take out first these highs here, but then majority of the trade will go back to there. Okay, so we need to reclaim that first, to look for longs. Otherwise, you really want to just look for potential lower bids. Now, again, I don't think we have rate cuts tomorrow, so I really hope that this move down is pricing that in, because if people are still, or if the markets or investors or whatever is still thinking that we get rate cuts, and this move isn't priced in, then kind of screwed, because the move down will be violent. I'd look to short this top. This one's actually going to be a scalp play. Because you actually have a supply zone here. So a few potential plays: limit order, conditional trade, limit order. Okay. Nice profile pic. Thank you, thank you. It's a picture of Trump saying, well, Clown Trump saying huge tariffs on the way because he won't get his way tomorrow. Would the Fed stop quantitative easing be a factor? Does that? I think if we go into quantitative easing, it's going to send us higher. But I still don't think we get that anytime soon, or at least not in tomorrow's decision. I'd be surprised. But again, I think that this move down is hopefully pricing in that we don't get a rate cut. Because like I said, if we do, then I think the move down will be violent. Quantitative easing will send the markets a little bit higher. Yeah, for sure. We still won't see that major, golden bull run that people are thinking about. Like, we are basically at the end of the cycle. One more leg up, hopefully, but alts really won't do much. Like people are thinking alt season will go back to 5 to 10x from these levels. Well, if Sui did 2x from these levels, it goes back to its all-time high, right? So people are expecting too much from alts, and this is a Bitcoin market. All right. Okay, some coin suggestions from you guys. What do you guys want me to look at? Please don't say Forkcoin. Ondo. I can take a look at Forkcoin. I just hate that coin. Ondo. One sec. I like Bybit's charts better. Fuck Binance. I post all these plays in here, and B Sean, I don't know if he's in here, but this dude takes all my plays from the streams, and he's like, he keeps a record. Apparently, in the last like 15 calls, only like 2 have gone wrong. He takes his own profits, but shout out to B Sean. He's here, right? Yeah, he's here. Ondo. All right, so we have resistance. And by the way, last cycle, I was a leverage slut. I just had a lot of time on my hands to actually trade. Now, not so much. That's why I give a whole bunch of trades, but I don't take them myself. Okay, so trades in these streams. I actually give everything I give in my channel. Okay, I just don't want to put people in the wrong way. Okay, so Ondo stuck in this range here. We have an order block. We actually have a triple bottom true support, but here is the wicks. And we're gonna draw. Let me see something. Okay. You have an SR point. I think shorts in this golden pocket makes sense. Now this has a few plays. Like you can scalp this one. Longing here is too risky. Range highs. This one's too. Give yourself some more breathing room. Okay. But all charts kind of look the same. This actually lost trend. So we draw a new trend line. Okay. So there. Now below that. Okay, this liquidity has not been fully taken. So valid to take again. That's if we lose this level. And by the way, the daily is most likely, if it closes like this, we have a possible bearish engulfing candle. Now this one would be more of a spot trade. I only say that unless you want to take it with low leverage and low position size. It's a very, very wide stop, right? So this level needs to hold. But let's see, if price was to come back down. No, that wouldn't keep the divergence going. We had a divergence here. But a third leg down would actually nullify it, so that's the only area where I see holding outside of this. I wouldn't long here. To be honest, I don't know where I would long Ondo. In a downtrend, be a bear. Don't be looking to be a bull. I probably, if I were to long it, I look for a double bottom. So if we break down from this level, okay, similar to what we had like around here, price goes up, comes down into a double bottom, look for a price movement like this. Okay, just like actually Bitcoin, I think on a lower time frame had it. Thought it did. Like this, yeah. See, came down, cup shape, went up, came down, little cup shape. Apply that same exact method to Ondo. If we come down here, consolidate into a little cup shape, then that's where you would long. Otherwise, like I said, you have liquidity here, so playing this demand zone makes sense. Otherwise, this is a conditional trade. Whoa. Conditional trade, okay? Don't set limits for this one. One Ondo used to equal one condo, people said, right? Where are those people? ENA. Interesting. Still got a divergence going, but the daily is really slow. Let's take a look at this on the 12-hour. So there we have resistance. Let's do true resistance right there. Got a little bear flag. Trend hasn't been lost yet because that's your higher low. Right, so it's still in like an uptrend, I guess. So if, you know, this is the retest point, right? So if this closes within the next 25 minutes here, there's a possible short opportunity. It's just risky because we're so oversold. And we're getting back to a 50 RSI reset. This could pump from, I mean, I think the markets are going to be choppy or low volatility heading into tomorrow. But lose this level, I look to possibly short with tight stops. Back down to support here. No, the risk reward isn't great. Just don't know where to place stops. Yeah, that would be the only play I see there. Any move to range highs is a short. Probably start laddering shorts. If that one gets stopped out, I probably wouldn't short the range highs because many touches. I'd probably short here first. If this stops out, then we're going higher. But lower time frame, I don't really see anything. Slow mover. Here's a scalp play. Very, very tight. I wouldn't long this until it reclaims the trend line if you're trying to go for a scalp. So if this reclaims, then it's going to be a possible long into there with with like stops below that candle. Yeah. Slow mover. I don't know how this will play out because, again, like I said, the volume is very low. But these would be the potential setups. Hype. sec. There's like no data. I don't want to use my KuCoin chart because, well, I need it. Fuck. All right, well, guess I'm using my KuCoin chart. I just won't be deleting everything, so it's my spot chart. Okay, so we actually did break out. We actually had a bullish divergence here that formed. Currently putting in a higher low. We came and bounced right from it. Now major resistance, which you can actually do here. Okay, we have strong resistance here. Now this could easily, I wouldn't call it a cup and handle, because the handle is more than 40% of the cup, but you got possibly an inverse head and shoulders. Okay, there is your neckline for your left shoulder, there's your head and right shoulder. As long as we don't fall below the head, this is totally valid. Now this could be, I don't know if this is accumulation or distribution. You know, they had FUD, right? But here is your low time frame range with your highs. So I think shorting let's do it in the middle. Let's mess with some people. I think that would be a great possible short opportunity, because it'll be the third neck, well, on a higher time frame, the third neckline touch. But I don't see any point in longing this swing trade until we get above here. And then you have a conditional trade of this to stops to be determined. You need more price action, but something like that. But if we lose this level, right, here is our lower high, here's our last, right, higher low, or sorry, lower low. So lose that, then you could look to short, but you don't really have much of a, you know, leeway there, because this is our lows, at least on established exchange charts. You can go to Hyperliquid and see where the next levels are, but possible long attempt can be taken at this OB. And again, it would be like a double bottom formation. Okay, stops very, very tight on this, back to the highs. I think this will get a short squeeze coming eventually. Yeah, that's what I'd be looking for, these three plays. This one's conditional. TRX. Why do I feel like Justin Sun just put an announcement of an announcement up? Shit always happens when he does it, because this chart doesn't really pump like this. Trend lines are subjective. You could draw them however you want. Usually you need 3 touches, so I'd probably go with this trend line here. Massive resistance. Why is it pumping? It's actually short. Tighter stop. I don't want it above that wick. We're above the resistance. So if bullish, well, that's one short. If bullish, this comes back and retests. Maybe a wick into this order block. But retest and hold, that is your long trigger. That would be another higher low placed. So hopefully look for these type of wicks into this order block is what I would do. I don't see anything else outside of these two for now. So let's play this level by level. That's a crazy candle. Just these two trades. Oh, he said a big announcement's coming? Of course he did. He always announces shit, and that's why it's going up. So for those that don't know, so Pepe is a I'm gonna break this down in a higher time frame. So in Unity chat, sometime I said, back in December, actually it was January, that this had topped. So it had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. Now it had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. We rejected from resistance, but it looks like it's possibly starting to the upside. Now, if ETH runs, this will run as well. It is an ETH beta. It is one of the meme coins that does well when ETH runs. And, we just possibly put another higher low here, break above. I was hoping we would hold this retest of this inverse head and shoulders neckline. We didn't do it. But if we can get above 73 with all those zeros, then this will be a fast acceleration, in my opinion, to this move here. Granted, ETH runs as well. But right now, I still think this is a reasonable place to add. I'm still holding. I've only allocated, I don't have my DCA filled yet, but 2.5% of my portfolio. This isn't one to leverage trade. It's very volatile. This was a huge move, but even yesterday we closed as an SFP, I think. At least on leverage we did. But I still do think this runs on a higher time frame. Might take some time. Lower time frame, there's not much going on. This was a huge move into resistance, which we rejected from. I was hoping after the seventh touch this would break out. Bitcoin had other plans, but if you really want to add or get into it, I would actually wait for this DCA point around 631. That is also support, but right now I do not think this runs. It's going to be ranging here for a little bit, just like you see here, right? Just a simple range, and it really won't do anything until ETH runs. So until that happens, it's just going to keep ranging. I don't want us to fall back below this 6.1 or 6.31 because at that point we put in we fall back under a deviation point. So I don't want that. But right now, there's not much to update on this. I just want to see how ETH reacts and basically bullish above this red line, bearish below this black line. Nothing much to update on this coin. It's very hard to leverage trade. But I'll put this Here, I'll put this higher time frame. It's also in my channel. How is LTC holding up in your opinion? Let's take a look at Litecoin. Hmm. I don't like that candle. So in a downtrend, consolidation on support is usually leads to more of a decline, and that's exactly what we're doing on the BTC pairing. The BTC pairing is not bullish, and the USDT pairing looks like a bear flag. Now, lost the trend there, bearish retest point. Okay, technical targets, depending on how low Bitcoin goes. Technical targets would be around 70 bucks. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but until we get above this point again, there's no real interest in Litecoin. That's why I cut my spot trade. We lost that major level and turned into resistance, so I went ahead and cut it. So until we get above that level, it does not really look bullish. We have a liquidity sweep looming, so I think this actually goes for here first. But as long as we are ranging here, right, you also have this sweep here. So you have a few trades you could take if you're doing leverage. You can do the range lows with tight stops. You could wait for a conditional trade for these this to be swept. So price comes, sweeps it, gets above here, then you could long with stop below there. Or you have the range high short. Now this one's a little bit riskier because like there's no real place to to put your stop loss. I like this order block, so hopefully if we get to this point, this actually wicks higher, and this would be a better trade to take than trying to time this short. Now, if you want to short around the range highs level here, stops are gonna have to be stops are gonna have to be very tight. Probably around 95.4. Because if this stops out, then we get this wick. But unless we get above 94, not really interested in Litecoin. Pendle. Let's make this my last chart. Man, I haven't looked at this in August of 24. No divs. Downtrend. Interesting. Interessante. Let's see. Why the slow grind up? Wait a sec. Are these coins related? API 3 and Pendle. Because these coins are up only. One sec. What is... This could be up because it has negative funding. It has to have negative funding. Spot and perps are far off. Does it have negative funding? I don't have my phone on me. If bullish, yeah, okay. If bullish, it comes and retests this resistance that it broke out from. Oh, that's nothing. And holds. One sec. Now, just stop loss placement sucks. Because you usually want to place the previous low. Let me go to a lower time frame. It already had a bearish div play out. Ah, too high. Let's do this. Supply zone. Top. Resistance. Don't know which one we get first, but this would be the potential setups for both. Hopefully you can try to time the top of this rising wedge with the resistance here. If it breaks current trend line, you think it sends this one? I don't know. I don't know what's causing this pump because like this API 3, they're both pumping while the market's going down, and they have like weird pumps, right? So I don't know. Are these AI? RWA. Then why isn't Ondo pumping? Weird. If RWA is pumping, Ondo should be pumping as well. See? Yeah, I looked to short there. Now, depending on how funding gets, like API 3 has like -2 funding currently. But I think this will be a good short to take. I don't know why it's pumping. Don't even think the high time frame. Yeah, high time frame looks bullish. But above, what is that? 49. Above here would be a breakout of this downtrend on the daily. So scalp attempt could be worth it. Otherwise, come back down to make another higher low, and that would be worth it. That's the only two trades I currently see. Below here, then it's bad. Like you want it to bounce somewhere around here. Closure back below 22 cents. No bueno. But yeah, I think a possible rising wedge could be in play. And then obviously, like I said, above this level. Sorry, not 49. Above this level, then you have a high time frame falling wedge breakout, which would actually target a 78% move if you have a breakout and retest at that level. Okay, so you need that conditional trigger to happen. Daily, we haven't had daily closure above here in a while. So daily closure above here, retest full send to about $4.50. But again, don't know why this is pumping. These would be the potential plays. This is the trigger play. Pendle is DeFi, not RWA. Okay, why isn't Link pumping then? There has to be some news. I don't have any DeFi coins in my watch list that's pumping. I don't know. Probably some news. Alright guys, that's it for me.